Hello, this is Geeks Assembled, and we have gathered today to do another Audio Heads podcast. This day, the week before Halloween, it is the day after the clocks changed for the Brits, and it is looking uh it's starting to get dark fairly early. And so Dracula, the Unquenchable Thirst of Dracula is the one that we are reviewing today. This was a Hammer horror story.
Yeah.
It was set in India, and it was set in the castle of a Maharaja, which you would not, you really, I really had never sort of put these things together for that, but it was really interesting. It was produced and directed by Mark Gatiss, and it was part of the BBC. And Lawrence Bowen and Peter Endigue were also producers on this, and it was about an hour and 45 minutes long. It was great. But I really need to find out because of the nature of this audio drama, what my partner in crime over there thinks about this, because I have the feeling that the way it was presented will cause him enormous difficulty. Over to you, Lee. Your opening thoughts on the Incredible
Well,
Thirst of Dracula.
The Unquenchable Thirst of Dracula was a film script for Hammer Horror, but was never made because it would be too costly to make because they did want to film it in India.
Mm-hmm.
So Hammer went and made Dracula 1972 AD on a cheaper budget.
Huh.
Um, it's nice to know that these are getting made, just audio drama. But yes, you know what I'm going to say, Susan. Um, Michael Sheen, great actor, but it's narration. Narration for most part of this drama, and I lost interest in it. I listened to it all. Don't get me wrong, um, but the narration for me, I was hoping that the Michael Sheen part was sort of like reading excerpts from a diary and then
Mm-hmm.
setting up the scene, but no, it was so and so did this, so and so did that, And I thought, oh no, we're not having this. And it was all the way through. You did have excerpts of drama, but for me, 50 minutes in, I just totally lost interest. And I just, and that's the only good thing about this was the actor Lewis McLeod
Mm-hmm.
playing Count Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
He was channeling Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
I I thought, wow. So they did get someone to sort of carry on the mantle of Christopher Lee's Dracula. But apart from that, I can't say anything else more than the narration killed it off. I couldn't care less how it ended. Well, Dracula up against a wall. That was it. But no, just the constant narration. I don't want to be read to.
Mm-hmm.
I want acting. There was bits of acting in between the narration,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough acting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, great production. You say you've got great Michael Sheen. Who's the other one? Mira Cial as Rani.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, Mark Gatiss, the director. He's well into his horror stuff. He loves his horror stuff. Um, but no, the narration killed it for me.
Hmm.
So back to you, Susan.
All right. Well, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be, he's gonna excoriate this. It's gonna be the barnacles left at the bottom of at the bottom of the dock. Oh my gosh. And there was like, there was trains and ships and white coffin moving around here, hither and thither and yon. There
Yeah.
was the Maharaja, the castle of the Maharaja. There was mountains and snow and difficulties and things of that nature, but it was all narrated to us. And Michael Sheen did really good narration. I really, personally, because of the way I like books, I don't mind them being read to me. Partly because my eyeballs do their own independent. They're both independent movie makers, and they don't often they aren't they, sometimes they aren't even making the same movie. Okay, but anyway, my head my head was like seriously done in by the way that they would narrate things that would have been perfectly well, spoken out
Yeah.
or acted, or with a certain sound effect would have been just fine. That sort of I actually, Lee and I are spoiled. We do listen to some of the best stuff ever done on audio, the best stuff ever created by Big Finish and by Bafflegab and by BBC. And there are some really really killer storytelling with no narration, and this could have been done a bit with a bunch of that. I mean, yeah, it was gruesome. Yeah, the way that they discussed, the way there was a Lucy in it. And so that was, I mean, as a Dracula fan, I have to say, what was I looking for? I was looking for a Lucy. I was looking for someone to be the Jonathan Harker, and someone to be the Mina kind of character. So the Mina was like Lakshmi and stuff, and then there was like the Rani. They called her the Rani, like she is the princess. And then the Maharaja both the Maharaja and the inspector were played by the same person. And I will let Lee talk about that. And then there's Lucy, played by Natalie Kimmerling. And okay, so yes, she was the one who became enthralled and, half dead first, of course, with this exsanguination and stuff. Very cool. But, you know, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Is they're going to talk about that? And like, yeah, you just kind of go, that could have that's been done. They did a great job with that on Big Finish. Why can't they do it here? I mean, like that was just my question. Anyway, yeah. So if you want to talk about the cast, I'd love for you to do that, and then I know that you probably don't want to you didn't find anything really exciting about it, so I'll just let you talk about the cast then.
Well, well, as you say, Big Finish have done several Dracula adaptations of the stories, starring Mark Gatiss as Count Dracula. Um, and I was expecting the format of this drama to be
Like
similar
that
to
one.
them sort of productions. Um, I don't know if this was a directorial choice by Matt Gatiss to go down a different route. I don't know. Um, yeah, as you say, what we've got the narrator, Michael Sheen. What can you say about Michael Sheen? He's brilliant at everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a shame he was the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
And
could have
not
had.
a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
you say you had Penny and Prem, um, Anna Madley, is it Madeley, Anna Madeley, and Nikesh Patel. See,
Mm-hmm.
some of these actors I've not heard because they have gone down the Indian route for most of these actors.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Aisha Dakar and Kulvinder Gier? I say Mary Sial is a well-known actress in this country, played the
Mm-hmm.
Rani. Um, Lewis McLeod, do you know the name rings a bell, but I just don't know what he. I can't put my finger on what he's done, but he did a great job of channeling Christopher Lee. Um, yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's an unusual setting for a Dracula story, but there again, vampires do travel.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the origin of Dracula, he travelled from Transylvania to to Whitby. Um, so why not travel to India? you know, but yeah, it was just as you say, you could have had certain great scenes of drama and acting acted out, but no, all we got was the narration of telling you what was happening, of telling you the consequences of this, the consequences of that. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's just you've wasted a lot of what soundscapes they could have had instead of just the narration telling us that the sky was blue and and the steam trains going across the country and you didn't need that. All you needed was all you wanted was all it needed was a well acted drama, and so for me it fell flat.
Lewis McLeod, he was in he played Sebulba in Star Wars Episode 1.
So Bulba, what's the Bulba?
Sebulba was that Doug guy. And then let me see. It says he was um
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know which character that is. Yeah.
and then for he was in spit he did voices for Spitting Image,
Ah, right,
and he was in The Crown
right.
as
Never watched.
Ian Tennant, and
So I
he
have
did
seen his name. I have seen his name on things. Then yes, that's why his
yeah,
name was ringing a bell with me.
yep,
But yeah,
Anyway,
for me, it was a lot of wasted opportunity with this story. That's all I can really say of the matter. I mean, I can't knock the acting from the acting I I hated, which wasn't for
mhm.
me was not enough acting. Um, I don't know. It's an odd one. So back to you, Susan.
Yeah, the yanking of the concept into India was it was you know from Eastern Europe to Southeast Asia. That it was just, you change, didn't really change the lore. There wasn't anything new added to the lore. There wasn't anything new added to, I mean, they had they had a a character of Lucy.
Hmm.
You have to have someone who falls in thrall first, who ends up like kind of distracting the whole whatever's going on in the world. All eyes go to her. In the original book, it's like all of her paramours, just four guys who are like falling over themselves to get her to marry them. And Mina is very humble, very different kind of person, but the Lucy's the hmm, you know, the very sexy woman, and so in this case there was that, but there was also um the the putting on of the garments. That was pretty interesting. I liked the when when the women were dressing. I thought that they did a lot of talk about that. That was something that was like, unique to the story. Also, the fact that some of it is train and some of it is, you know, that was different. And um I liked the I liked the personalities of the of Lakshmi and Prem, and Penny being sort of like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do when I'm going to do it. And I don't have any social construct that I'm holding on to. So that was fun. I mean, this is just what the characters were up to. I enjoyed the acting. Like Lee said, I enjoyed the whatever sound effects there were and whatever soundscape there was. But the reality is that there was entirely too much narration in this story. And for Hammer, I mean, Hammer has done stuff with, you know, where Peter Cushing barely speaks. He just looks scowling at somebody, and they are like, that sort of thing. I mean, like these actors had so much going on, and that Lewis McLeod is knows that he has to live up to a certain standard, but then it's not allowed to be just him and the act. It's broken up so much. Okay, so uh anything other than the way the story was told that bothers you, or
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there when you said the story was broken up too much. It was because of the narration.
yeah, that's what I
The,
thought.
the narration was driving a wedge in between the story for too many times.
And too
Um,
like too long of a time. I mean, like,
yeah,
yeah.
and as I say, after 50, I know it was what, an hour and 30 minutes or 40 minutes long. Um, After 50 minutes, every time the narration, I just lost interest.
Hmm. Yeah. Sorry.
And, you know, I tried to concentrate on the acting, but as soon as the narration started again, I was not again. You know, that's yeah, the narration overload, in my opinion.
Yep.
It didn't need it.
Yep.
If there was
So,
if it was done in I'd say if they did it in 4 chapters, they should have had narration at the beginning of each chapter, and then the acting should have just gone on.
oh, good one. Good one. Good thinking. Yeah, that's why you get paid the big bucks, Lee.
Do I? All right. I'll wait for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
check.
yeah, yeah, right. Um, yeah, so the that would have done it, you know? That would have made it a whole lot smoother and a whole lot less screwy.
Hmm.
The race against time, uh there was it didn't feel like there was a race against time because of the broken nature. I mean, they they claim that it was like they were aiming for this one sort of festival thing or ritual, and you know it, they just described it, but they didn't really act it out. So I was like, oh, okay, shrug, shrug. And that to me, as someone who has argued against Lee, because I like narration. I like my books read to me. And I thought that this one was going to be, something that would sort of bring us together, on the side of, okay, well, there is a
On the side of good.
there. No, I didn't say that. I said I was going to say that if, on the side that narration could have its place in something, but I am now on his side,
The
and
side of evil.
right, okay, fine, please. And so, it was, I don't know, I really wanted to be scared too, and the narration would break in and not let me be scared. And
Hmm.
that's what, that's why you watch and listen to these stories, because you yourself could feel like you could be sucked in.
Hmm.
I would definitely fall under his thrall.
But
But if they're going to talk to me, if they're going to talk my ear, like if I'm
hmm.
wearing headphones and he's in front of me, and I have somebody narrating what's going on around us at the same time as,
Hmm.
I'm looking
It's
up
not,
into the
it's not,
the
yeah, it's
dark
not,
eyes of the Count of Vlad the Impaler, and you've got all this like great sort of wave
it's not,
upon wave of
yeah.
glamour. I'm and this is going on. I'm not gonna get the glamour. It's gonna be
Yeah,
distracted.
it puts it's sort of stopping you using the imagination of audio.
Huh.
It's putting a dampener on your imagination going forward with the acting.
It also like dampened my, that whole falling under the thrall of a
Yeah,
vampire.
yeah.
That
And
that fear, that sensual manipulation stuff, a little bit of that like S&M kind of, that thread of S&M that runs through someone who is wanting to be taken over by a creature of the night, that kind of thing.
hmm.
That's uh that's broken up by somebody chatting in your ear gently about what's going on around you.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, it wasn't I wasn't having it. And I'm really sorry, because I
I tell
I
you,
I
this
have
is a,
been.
this is a first.
I know. And here's another thing, is that I still like books. I just read The Silmarillion, and it was read to me, and but it was read by Andy Serkis, and it was just the story read from cover to cover, all little bits that were dramatic. He added his own stuff, and then he turned it around and went back to the voice of the narrator, and through his voice acting and his beautiful like connection with all these different parts of the story, like the Valar, all these cool things. You were able to. It transported me out of the subway that I was riding in, or out of the city bus that I was riding in to
Mm.
Middle Earth. But this did not transport me. It got a little kind of glitchy, and I was hoping to be scared out of my mind because it's Halloween spooky time. Gosh darn it! And that's what I wanted. Anyway, Lee, is it time for final say and score, or do you want to talk some more?
No, no. We had enough talking with the narration. Um, so what can I give this?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the acting. What I heard of, in between the snippets of acting in between the narration seemed fun. Uh, the portrayal of Dracula was the best thing about it for me. But the narration took you out of the story. It just kicked you out of it. Um,
Hmm.
I'm, I'm going to give this 5 blood-infused onion barges out of 10.
Hmm.
Seeing as it
Yeah,
was set in India.
yeah, and I'll do this like a little bit better. I'll give this a 6.5. Six
You
and
know,
a half.
you're not that far off from me.
Impaled. Impaled stanchions out of 10. It was very interesting. You know, the way that they discussed at the end. The final result was that Dracula, who was known as the Impaler. They made a big point about like, oh, this is the one. It was in Wallachia, it was in Romania, it was in Transylvania, and he was called the Impaler. You know, that one. You know, but then there was the end of him was impaled on a bunch of stuff, and then the sun came up, and he just disintegrated into so much little flakes of dust. But yeah, not everything turned out to have been enough for me this time. And I think if you're going to do a full cast, don't narrate it. And if you're going to do a acted narrated piece, maybe keep the narration to a bare minimum, because you don't want these actors who give their life to they infuse their life into these pieces of literature, and just in you just want to give them their their sea legs, their travel, so that they can go as far as they want with this anyway, and scare the shit out of people like me. That's what I want. All right. And so, yeah, Lee and I thank you for watching this podcast. We ask that you comment below if you what you think of Dracula, the lore, the if you've read this script, if you've heard the story done um different way, or I don't know if there are any different ways. Just make a note of it and let us know in the comments below. Also, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification, and you'll get the notification of the whole of our Halloween spooky time.
Mm.
Um, and I'd like to invite you to watch the next podcast, which will be about Death Becomes Her, and so that's going to be great. And we thank you for watching. Please join us on social media if you want to join us. Also, give Lee a holler, please. Comment below, comment anywhere. Get in touch with him. Camera, microphone, device, and 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. mostly, UK time, and then join us and watch what we watch and talk about what we talk about. And Geeks Assembled thanks you for joining us in this trip to India. Please remember to bring your belongings with you as you leave.